Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All right, let's try it again. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All right, great. So, just like my man Julian said, this is out of my element. I'm an engineer, also a musician, so I'm in the back of the stage, not with the microphone. So please forgive me. But yeah, it's good to be back here. When I was here on campus, we didn't have all this nice stuff, all this cool stuff. So this is good. This progress. So first off, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you to Connie. Thank you to the MESA program. They put so much into me, and so it's good to be back here. I'd like to say thank you to Bakersfield College staff, faculty. Thank you for having me. Thank you for all the professors that poured into me. I'd like to say thank you to my mom for being here to support. Thank you to my wife for being here to support. And thank you to everybody here to be support. So give yourself a round of applause here. So, for those who know me, some who don't, my name is Dominic Miller, right? So I'm a husband, I'm a son, I am a brother, I'm a musician, I'm a Bakersfield College graduate, class of 2018, I'm a CSUB graduate, class of 24, and most newly, I'm an engineer, right? So, my first, how many of y'all are first generation college grads, or college students, right? Great. Right, we are all here. This is our tribe. This is great. So keep that in mind for the back of the speech. But let me take you back to a time. Let me take you back to fall 2010. That's when I first came to Bakersfield College, when I first stepped on campus. That's when I first met Connie. It's also when I first met the MESA program, right? I met everybody here at week 0. Do we still do that here? No? Okay.
No more weeks.
So yeah, we gotta bring that thing back. I know, I'm dating myself, but it's all right. But week 0, right? It was great because it was a week before, the semester started, right? I remember the first day of class and everything. I was on campus and I was like, whoa, lights are bright, right? I was looking like a deer in the headlight, right? But the great thing about the MESA program, we had a week 0, and I was able to meet everybody there, right? One of the best things that we got from that is, I met some colleagues, right? I met some professors, right? And I met my tribe, right? My tribe is specifically in the National Society of Black Engineers, or MESA. One of the best things about the MESA program, what I found is, when you are a young, impressionable person, right? When you are 18, when you really didn't want to go to college, and your mom was like, "Sonny boy, you need to go to college," right? You need a community, right? You need people that are going to be there with you in your corner, right? You need people that are going to be on the same track as yourself. And that's one thing that I found in the MESA program. And that's one of the best things that I got out of the MESA program, because when you are trying to do something, it's important that you just don't go by yourself, but you go with somebody, right? And so that's one of the best things I found in the MESA program. So shout out to Connie and the MESA program and all the things. So another thing, one of the best things about being in the MESA program, what I got out of it, right, you're able to tap into certain resources, right? I remember there's a lot of things that we did, right? I was here for a long time, but I'll give you 4, right? The first thing that we did, Connie made me take a learning test. Has anybody ever taken a learning test? Right? A learning test, what that is you take a test and you find out how you personally learn best, right? There's different types of ways of learning, right? I found out that I learn best by kinetic and also by visual, right? So if you talk to me all day, my ADHD is going to win, and I'm not going to, I'm going to zone out, right? But if I look at something and I kind of just sit there and think about it, right? And if I, do something kinetically, like a math problem, I have to physically do it, right? And that's one of the best things that I got out of it, right? Taking a learning test. The second thing was, I don't know how Connie was able to do this, but she did it. One of the best things that she did was she worked out some deal with, I think it was Hewlett Packard or Microsoft. I walked into the MESA room one day and she said, "Oh, I got a laptop for you." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Here's a laptop." I said, "Okay," right? One of the best things about it was I didn't have a laptop, right? We all know as college students, college grads, right? We need our own things, right? So Connie, what she was able to do was she was able to finesse us to have laptops, and all we needed to do was have 50 community service hours, right? So she was like, all you gotta do is teach your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your cousin, whoever, just teach them how to use the laptop, and you get to keep it. I was like, okay, all right, it's great, right? So thank you to God for that, because having my own laptop was very useful, right? As we all know. And the third thing was, you know, in 2013, Connie, she sent us, as the NESB chapter, she sent us to Boston, right? How many of y'all been to Boston? Okay, great. It's very cold out there, right? But Connie sent us to Boston for the NESB National Conference, right? And that was very impactful in my life because in Bakersfield College and Bakersfield in general, right, you don't see a lot of familiar faces, right? A lot of people that look like myself that were in classes, at least not at the time, right? In these big lecture halls, there'd probably be 1 or 2 African American students, right? But going to this NESB conference, what I was able to see was I was able to see 10,000, right? 10,000 other African American students on the same journey as myself, right? Right? I'm talking about young men and women who went to Yale, right? Harvard, MIT, right? The Cal Polys, right? The Texas Techs, whatever it was, right? And just being there in that atmosphere, in that ecosystem of just seeing everybody young, just like myself at the time, right? Who was on the same journey, right? It's very impactful. Fourth thing was, and I still use these to this day, Connie, she would set up resume and mock interviews, right? So it helps me a little bit with speech right now, but I remember Connie looked at my resume one day and she said, what is this? I was like, well, it's a resume, right? She was like, no, we gotta change it, right? But, you know, the fact that Connie looked at my resume, the fact that Connie was able to help us out in that regard, right? You know, setting yourself up, because we all know that if you're going to college, you're trying to look for a job, right? That's the reason why we go to college, right? But your resume is very important because your resume speaks for you when you can. So something as simple as changing this blob that I had, I was doing all these things, right? No one's gonna look at that, right? But changing some of those things to action words, right? Just for example, doing this, creating this, right? Cultivating this, right? Resume workshops, so thanks to God. So, round of applause for all those things right there. I got 2 more things. I'm not gonna be before you too long here. Just, you know, kind of calming down, but this is great. But, yeah, going back to the basic program and meeting some of the professors. I'm gonna tell you a story about one of my professors. Some of y'all may not know. Does anybody remember Dr. Wayne Cooper here? Yeah, all right. Okay, some of the OGs out here. That's great. Okay, yeah, Dr. Wayne Cooper, right? He was one of my chemistry professors. Don't ask me what he taught me in chemistry. Don't ask me that. Okay, but I remember being, you know, at some of the MESA events and some of the MESA functions that we've had lunch, right? Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Cooper. Dr. Cooper was an older man when I was here. That was about 10 years ago, right? He got his PhD in like the 60s and 70s, right? So he was an older guy, but he was so full of life, right? He was a guy that, you know, he just loved speaking to students, right? And one of the things that he told me, and really told everybody, but something that stuck with me was, if you want to pursue a STEM degree, a science degree, you need the 3 Ds, okay? You need dedication, you need determination, and you need the discipline. I'm gonna say that one more time, okay? You need the dedication, the determination, and the discipline. I'm gonna say that one more time, everybody say it with me, okay? You need the dedication, determination, and the discipline, right? You need those 3 things, right? You need the dedication because, as some of you guys know, or all of us know, a semester is long, right? You think about college, 4 years, sometimes 5, but 4 years, that's 2 semesters a year, sometimes 3. But 16 weeks in a semester, right? That's 15 weeks in a final, right? So you're talking about doing something every day, every week, right? Going to your classes all the time, right? I know it's easy when you're like, I don't want to go to class, right? But you need that dedication, right? Determination. You need to be able to see yourself complete that degree, right? You need to be able to see yourself cross that finish line, right? You need to have that determination to say, I can do it and I will do it, right? The discipline, we all know that on the road of whatever you're trying to do here, it can be hard, right? When it's cold, when it's hot, right? When you're tired, when you don't want to do this, right? That discipline is what's going to kick in, and that discipline is what's going to say, you're going to do it. You need to do this, right? So, those three things have stuck with me. Like I said, I can't remember all the things about Dr. Cooper and his chemistry lessons, but I remember those three words, right? And I hope you guys remember those three words. If you don't remember anything, that's okay. Remember those three words. Now I kind of want to segue here, right? So a show of hands again one more time for the first gen. Right, okay, awesome. Me personally, I was the first gen. I was the first person to ever graduate college in my family. It's not easy, right? It's hard, okay? Especially when you are the ones that are creating the road, right? Some people, they have a roadmap and they're like, all right, cool. And they still get lost, right? All right, you know? But for the people that are the first, they have to create that roadmap. And sometimes you make wrong turns, sometimes you don't always get it right. However, you have to blaze that path, right? And for myself, there's a lot of things that I had to overcome, right? Part of that was accountabilities, some of that was self-doubt, right? But I want you to understand that no matter what you're trying to achieve, right? Whether it's a degree, whether it's a PhD, whether it's just getting out of the house, right? Don't give up. And I know that's a lot easier said than done, right? Because as we just talked about, right? You're like, okay, it's cold, it's hot, I don't want to do this, right? But it's important that you don't give up, right? Because someone has to be the first, and someone has to do it, okay? And I guarantee you, if you do it, you're going to inspire someone. And it's important that you do that because you never know who you're going to inspire, right? I spent 14 years in college, 8 years here, right? It's a long time. Don't recommend it. Do your homework. Definitely do your homework, right? But I spent 14 years here and I graduated in 2014 at CSUB. And because I decided to finish, right? My own mother here, who's now a Bakersfield College student, right? She's going to complete her degree next year, right? So I want you to always remember that on your journey, right? See it through, okay? Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your goals. I think that's it, man. All right, I'll read this little speech here, right? In closing, I would like to say thank you to the MESA program for being a rock in the storm and providing me with opportunity. Because of the connections I made in MESA, I have a network. That network has allowed me to seek help. That network has allowed me to lend out help. And if you can make it at Bakersfield College, always know that you can make it anywhere, all right? So, again, my name is Dominic Miller. That's my time.